Well, hello. This is World Radio Day. It's Friday, the 13th of February, 2026. My name is Yousepha Fawcett. Welcome to JFI Radio. Now, the theme this year for World Radio Day is radio and artificial intelligence, and the focus being on AI being a tool, not a voice. And just to let you know what's going on, I'm based here in the UK, so it's 5 a.m. over here. Yes, I am up. I've had enough cups of coffee to keep me going. But this broadcast is for my special audience over in Asia Pacific. So over in Australia, Aotearoa, New Zealand, East Asia. I know you're just ending your day, so what a lovely way for you to be spending it with me. Thank you. Thank you for bothering. So, as I said, my name is Yousepha Fawcett. This is my JFI radio. And, well, I've been doing this for a long time. This is my 11th year. And I have started doing this all over the world. So I've spent 24 years of my independent consulting career working across 42 countries on 5 continents, 19 industries across all 5 economic sectors. So that's the raw primary sector, where you have the farming, the mining, the oil, etc. The secondary sector, which has very much been into manufacturing, in construction, food, textiles. Tertiary, I've done a lot in the tertiary sector, in services, in retail, in banking, in healthcare. Um, then I've spent most of my time in the quaternary sector. So that's very much information-based services, research and development. And finally, I suppose the latter half of my career has been spent in what's called the quinary sector, the decision making, working with executives, coaching, and working on assessment with governments, etc. So my main areas tend to be around training, design, delivery, higher education, business excellence assessment. And within that range of topics, I do touch on AI quite a lot. Now, give me a moment because this is live and it is 5 a.m. in the morning here. I'm not sure if my voice is completely woken up, but I'm going to give it a good go. So let's go back to the theme. It's the UNESCO theme, which is radio and artificial intelligence. And this, if you like, strapline, I'm going to call it a strapline, where they've said they want people to recognize that AI should be just a tool and not a voice. And I'm going to pick up this topic across all of my live broadcasts today. So just so you know, I'm doing 5 live broadcasts. Now, if you're listening to this in Asia Pacific, you're going to be tucked up in bed when I start doing some of the others. So if you are crazy like me and intend on getting up early in the morning, if you're here in the UK or in Europe, yes, this one's at 5 a.m. The next one is going to be at 9 a.m. Then I've got one at 1 p.m. UK time, 4:30 p.m. UK time, and then I round off the day at 9 p.m. So I'm working my way across Europe. Uh, no, I'm not. I told you this is what happens when you do it live. If this was recorded, I'll have edited that bit out as being wrong. I'm working my way across the globe, not Europe. And so I've got lovely friends and contacts and colleagues working all over the world. And I know some of you are online now, over in Indonesia, in Australia, in Aotearoa, New Zealand, over in Malaysia. And I wanted to do something that meant it was easy for you to listen to me, which I hope I am doing. But you have to accept that when you do something live, you get the bloopers as well. Now, I've been a podcaster since 2015, and As you can probably tell already, I love talking. And I chose podcasting as a great way to amplify not just my voice and the things that I wanted to say, but the voice of others. And I've had a lot of pleasure meeting some fabulous people along the way and interviewing a lot of fabulous people as well. Now, this theme is really good for me because it is very much about AI and how it reshapes absolutely everything that we do. And I suppose my focus very much is around the area that's been most recent in my career, which is working in higher education and how HEIs, higher education institutions, well, how they can start to think about ways to ensure that their faculty, that's teaching staff to the rest of you, can use AI ethically in their work. So, over the series of live broadcasts, I'm going to be sharing stories that are real, not AI generated, about things that I've actually been doing. And what's interesting about this is I'm just looking to check that actually I am live on Facebook, because I have to say to you, should be live on Facebook. I should be live on LinkedIn as well, and also on YouTube. So it's hard to see at the moment. I'm just looking down at the moment to make sure that things are actually working. I'm not sure that my lovely gentleman Mitchell is up yet. I did say to him, he's doing all my marketing at the moment. Yes, I'm live. Oh, good. Hello. Hello, me. Just looking down looking down at my phone to make sure that I'm there. Mitchell, I know that you're not up yet monitoring what I'm doing. Why would you be? I'm not that cruel, am I? But so good. I just that little detour to make sure to see that I was actually going live, which is wonderful. Oh, where was I? Because I want to share lots of stories about AI, one of the first places, and I thought this would be a really good place to start, is to tell you a little bit about something that I've been working on. It's been an 18-month project that I've been working on as a project lead for ICDE, which is part of the network that I'm involved in. And within that network is a technology innovation network, a sub network being driven by Julie over in Australia. So, hello, good day, Julie. And Di, because one of our project team is also from Australia. So, good day, Di. Um, this project hasn't just been working with people in Australia, it's been working with colleagues from Sweden, from Mexico, from Norway, and from Greece, and from the US. And what we've been doing is we've been putting together a blueprint for localized scalability of AI in higher education. So we're one of three different projects that are going on, and this is our particular one. Um, there we've called it Goal 2.5 initiative, just because there was Goal 2 and 3, and this sort of fit somewhere in the middle. Seemed like a good idea at the time, and it seems to have stuck. And the whole idea is that we are creating a blueprint for higher education institutions, HEIs, as I said. And alongside that blueprint, it is we're also creating some OER, an open educational resource. So the blueprint is about how HEIs can start integrating and utilizing AI in their delivery, in their design, and do it ethically, not just throwing ChatGPT at everything, but some proper, thoughtful implementation that gives students and serves students well, that serves staff and faculty well. And then the OER, so sorry, the blueprint is the what they need to do, and it's got a shelf life, a best before date, and 18 months, because you know what? By the time you finish doing everything in there, AI will have moved on so much it won't be relevant anymore. And also a piece of OER, open educational resource, about how to use the blueprint. And then if that wasn't enough, we're all going to get together and write an article for publication at the University of Southern Queensland about what we've been doing, why we've been doing it. So the blueprint is the what, the OER is the how, and the publication is the why. Now, I've been really lucky because I've had a chance at the tail end of last year to present the findings of this project and where we're at the moment. We're continuing. There's still going to be work that's going on till June, July this year. So I've been over at the ICDE World Conference in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And yes, I am using that full Maori name from the Maori name simply because it relates very much to my concepts around adaptive stewardship and collective responsibility. And so a big shout out to my lovely colleagues that I met when I was with you last year. Oh, I'd love to come back, but I have to tell you that 32-hour journey was a real killer. It has to be said. I then carried on and went from there on to a conference with my lovely colleagues Eurofortis in Latvia, and we talked again at their conference about AI in higher education. Their focus is primarily around schools, but it was very, very relevant for many of the people that were there. And I've known these lovely colleagues in Latvia, Adela and Vanda, for, oh my goodness, 15, maybe 15 years. We worked together when we were working on European Commission projects, looking at different ways, different learning projects. And I love you both very much. And it was wonderful to see you again. And then finally, I had an opportunity to, through Geli, who was one of our project team members in Greece, to speak remotely at a conference in Greece about this particular project and about how it will help educators, and see where there's this, if you like, synergy and maybe convergence even. That's a better word. That's a better word at 5 a.m. this morning. That convergence between traditional higher education approaches and the knowledge and wisdom that's contained within that, and then how that meets AI and its generative capabilities, because it's here and it's fascinating and we can't ignore it. It's here to stay. So we need to learn how to use it. But there were some really fascinating things across three contexts, if you like, three tensions, and they're surfacing. They've surfaced in the HEI um, arena, but they're also surfacing in some of the other arenas that I work in as well with my other clients. And the first is about efficiency. You know, AI is really good in HEI for being efficient, particularly around things like administration. And I know some faculty use it for marking and for feedback and for course admin, but the tension is between and the payoff, if you like, is between that efficiency and authenticity. And of course, students, they're there. They're there before we were as faculty, because they're already using it. Sometimes a little bit difficulty, and that's the second tension in a moment, because even though we're desperate to maintain the genuine human connection in learning, it's true to say that AI has infiltrated education, higher education, and schools at such a fast pace. We need to keep up. We do. So that's one tension. Now, this second one is about accessibility and it's about integrity and ethical use. So, AI, there is no doubt about it, AI can make education and learning more accessible for everyone because it's quick. You can do easy translation with it, you can make personalized learning pathways, but it also enables cheating. And an awful lot of universities are trying to work out what their assessment strategies are to avoid the opportunity for students to cheat. I mean, it's so tempting for them to do so. Now, in my last university, my last two universities, and then the college that I've just finished contracting with, and my university in Spain, we're talking an awful lot about authentic assessment, because when you design things in an authentic way, there's less opportunity for students to use Chat GPT or any other um, tool, AI tool, to help them do this. You know, comes down to how we design things. And as an instructional designer myself, I have to say to you that I'm really eager to look at the way that we design learning material, whether it's for formal education, whether it's for vocational education and training in the vet market, for lifelong learning. The way we design things is important. And yes, before you say it, I know AI can design things as well, but it gets it wrong sometimes. And there is nothing worse than sharing material with students that is wrong. I mean, how can we be authentic if we, if you like, give out inaccurate information, fake learning, fake news, which is why it's important to check everything. And I tell my AI, I use Claude. I'm a big Claude fan. I tell Claude off all the time. It's so funny actually because I say you got that wrong, and Claude says, "Yeah, I'm sorry, you caught that. Well done," as if I get a prize, and I won't do it again. But of course it does. I have to be careful not to say he or she. Now, I did say there were three tensions, and that third tension is about innovation. Uh, I have a thing about this. You know, we're scrambling with free tools, with paid tools, the LLMs, the learning models that are being used are getting more and more sophisticated. We're going to be careful. Got to be really careful, because you start using that as your default for thinking. What happens to your brain? If we spend years and years going for that default, I mean, look how quickly Wikipedia took off and everybody checking things on Wikipedia and believing what was on Wikipedia was correct and accurate. How quickly we fell into that. And then now it's AI, and the default for many generations is just to jump into an AI. We got to be careful. We've got to be careful that we don't damage our brains. Now, we don't know yet, and I have got to say to you, my lovely friend Linda, my wonderful neuroscientist friend who is on holiday at the moment. I hope you're having a wonderful photography holiday. Can't wait to see the pictures when you come back. She could say so much more about how our brains are being affected by AI. In fact, I've just had a great idea. Linda, you'll be listening to this on the replay, I'm sure. We need to do a podcast, and we need to do a podcast all about how is AI affecting our creativity and our innovation. Hold on to that, please. So the blueprint that I mentioned to you before, it starts to address some of the real practical approaches to some of those tensions. And it allows people to go through a systematic process, and they can check for their own readiness. They can check for putting the foundations in place, because it isn't just about using AI for the things that I mentioned before. It's about having a firm foundation upon which to build, so that as that AI starts to develop, so does your own HEI infrastructure. So the blueprint is definitely the what needs to be done. The OER is the how to do it and how to use the blueprint, and the article, once we've finished, will be the why it's necessary. And I do have to give a big shout out here to my lovely project team, who we all of us started recording learning films to put into the OER. There's more to do. We haven't quite finished everything yet, but thank you for all your time and your attention at the tail end of last year. Well, I hope you are enjoying or have enjoyed this first live broadcast that I put together. You know what? Let me leave you with this thought. AI in higher education isn't optional anymore. We know students are using it. We know staff are using it. And it isn't whether to engage with it, it's about how to do it responsibly, how to do it so that it makes education actually really valuable. Now you're thinking, well, what on earth has all of this got to do with World Radio Day and radio and AI, the key theme? Well, radio and podcasting face exactly the same tensions. So UNESCO was very clever in choosing AI, a strapline as AI being a tool, not a voice. Um, and a lot of broadcasters worldwide, a lot of podcasters are grappling with these same kind of questions. Do we use AI? How do we use AI to enhance what we're doing without losing what makes us valuable? How do we engage with it without compromising the quality of what we do? So, being a learning educator, you'd imagine me to finish every single live broadcast with some key learning points. So here you are. After all, being the educator, it's natural for me. First thing first thing I would say is just don't buy the first shiniest AI tool. Ask yourself first, what problems are we actually solving? Um, in education, it might be how do we provide timely feedback to hundreds of students? In radio and podcasting, how do we make our content accessible in lots of languages? But to be clear about what you want to use AI for before you get excited about the tools. The next thing is about making sure you keep that human element going. The best universities, they're not using AI to replace lecturers, despite what's in the news about everybody saying that AI is replacing people and replacing jobs. We're not being replaced with chatbots just yet, thank goodness. But it does free lecturers like me from admin, so we can do more of the human stuff, the mentoring, the inspiration, the wisdom from our experience, the teaching, and the admin stuff gets done quicker. We can spend more time with students. It's the same for radio. You can use AI for transcription and for show notes. It's absolutely brilliant and really quick for that. But for conversation with AI cloned voices, why on earth would you want to lose that authentic human connection? That's just, in my view, it's just irreplaceable. And can I just say, this is my real voice. Croaky as it is first thing in the morning, but it's my real voice. What you're getting, it's not cloned, unless anybody out there is fancying on cloning it. Please don't. It's mine. Um, but I wouldn't want to have an automated me for any reason. I'd much rather you have a real authentic me with all the bloopers that come with it. Um, the other thing is that AI is great for is evaluation and adaptation. And one of my research areas that's going to take me now from 2026 all the way through to 2030 is looking at adaptive stewardship. I have a framework for that where I'll talk about that more in another broadcast. Um, it isn't about just using AI and implementing it. It's about evaluating, did it do what you set out to do? Remember I said right at the beginning, be clear about what it is you want. Um, and the best universities, that's where they're getting it right because they're piloting AI use, they're evaluating, they're adapting and adjusting, they're doing a pilot again. They're not just putting it in for one reason and one reason alone. And that's what broadcasters and podcasters need to do. So all I can say to you is I hope that I've given you something to think about. I keep losing my headphones on my head. I have to put them on a different way. Um, I really hope that some of this has landed really well with you. If you're working in education anywhere across Asia Pacific and you want to explore the blueprint and the OER and read our article when we finished it, you can find all the information about what I've just been telling you about at icde.org. Look for the Technology Innovation Network, TIN. The frameworks are open access, mainly because knowledge shouldn't be locked behind paywalls. It should be accessible to everyone. Or you can reach out to me and write to me at studio@jfiradio.com, and I'd be happy to give you more information. So thank you very, very much indeed for those of you that have been listening and joining me. I've seen on the dashboard that there were people that have been coming on listening. Maybe you've gone off to bed now. Maybe you've just woken up and decided to go back to bed, realizing that maybe 5 a.m. in the UK and in Europe wasn't such a good idea. But if you are over in Asia Pacific, thank you so much for listening to this, either live or on the replay. My next live broadcast is going to be at 9 a.m. And I'm going to talk about how I continue with AI, of course, and how I helped faculty members in my uni in Spain thinking about integrating AI into their teaching. So this is Yousepha Fawcett. This has been JFI Radio celebrating World Radio Day 2026. I look forward to my next broadcast in about 3.5 hours. See you then.